Welcome to this, the second of our 4 mindfulness practices and talks. I hope those of you who came to the first one and are here again today enjoyed the first one and are looking to see what comes next. And for those of you who are here for the first time, I'll do a brief summary of what mindfulness is again, and then look into the deeper aspects of mindfulness and what it can do for a person in their lifetime. So, mindfulness is a normal, natural skill. It's a quality of the mind, if you like, just in the same way as you could describe anger or frustration or kindness or love as qualities of the mind, things that the mind produces. And mindfulness is a normally underdeveloped part of the mind. It's the part of the mind that is calm and reflective, that is very highly observational. So it's almost like the kind of wiser big sister or big brother that you always wanted to have when you were panicking or really upset, and they said, hang on a second, let's just look at this in perspective. And they would calm you down, look at the whole situation, and then say, look, now we understand it, let's look at solutions. So in this sense, mindfulness is that quality, and it's in all of us to varying degrees, because obviously who we are and what traits we have are in large part, genetically directed. But then your life experiences come in on top of that, and they start to help shape you into the unique person that you are. So we've all got all the human qualities, but we've all got them in various degrees. And some are strengthened through life experiences that we didn't choose, and some are weakened because they've never had the opportunity to grow. And that's the case with mindfulness, because there's another part of the mind called what I call the automatic mind, or the reactive mind, sometimes the responsive mind. And that's the mind that does react to everything. Any tiny little thing and you go, oh, goodness sake. You see somebody driving in front of you and they go through a red light, and you just think, oh, people like that shouldn't be allowed in the road. And notice that we don't choose those responses. They are automatic. They're the exact same as that instinctive thing that when you hit your knee, just under your knee with the hammer, you get the instinctive kick. The mind produces instinctive reactions, responses, thoughts, emotions, moods, feelings. And we don't choose them, which means that we are not in control of ourselves. We're not in control of our own lives to a large degree. And this is where mindfulness comes in. So the automatic mind its product, if you like, is produced by the amygdala, a small part of the brain, very primitive, fight or flight. The mindfulness comes from a larger part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, and it's more recently evolved, and obviously wisdom and measure and balance are more evolved, more recent parts of an individual's life, let alone a species' life. So that's what mindfulness is, and in essence, what we're talking about, certainly in my interpretation, when we're talking about mindfulness, we're talking about which part of the brain are we going to use to live our lives. This automatic stuff, which causes all sorts of negative reactions and is predominantly negative, or this more reflective, qualitative, perspective view of the world. And obviously, it being called mindfulness, we want that one. The 4 qualities that mindfulness seems to develop in is according to the research, and there's beautiful research on this by neuroscientists and psychologists and doctors. Oxford University's got a centre, Harvard University leads on it in many ways in the States. But all over the world, research has been done on mindfulness. And in essence, apart from the nice wee things that it brings, which is like de-stressing you after a hard day, helping you sleep a bit better, helping you with addictions and urges and impulses that are maybe affecting your life negatively. Apart from these things, the big ones are it helps you think more clearly in the long run for your whole life. As long as you keep practicing, you will increasingly think more clearly, you'll get less reactive, you'll get things more kept in perspective and in proportion, and therefore your responses to life's ups and downs will be better. And by better, I mean the outcomes of how you respond to a situation will be better for you personally and for those around you. So that's clarity of mind. And along with the clarity of mind comes the calmness. Mindfulness is a calm state of mind. It's aware, but it's not getting caught up in the issue. And that's incredibly helpful for clear decision making and thinking. It's not rushed. A mindful mind is not rushed. Then concentration comes with it. And we need concentration more today than ever before, and we've always needed concentration. If you want to get something done in your life, you need to be able to concentrate on it. Nowadays, if you want to get something done in your life, you need to try and make sure you don't get caught up in the news, which is hard because it's on 24/7. And right now, with coronavirus, it's all seems to be urgent and important. So mindfulness helps you manage that, the quantity of news you receive in and the quality of type of news you get. Are you prepared to receive into your own mind? But over and above that, then there's the whole social media, Facebook, everything else. And you can now live your entire life just browsing. And some people do. But if you want to do X with your life, it's hard to get that done if you're browsing all day. So mindfulness helps us concentrate, helps us remember what matters to us, helps us remember to do what matters to us rather than just getting caught up with the latest trend, the latest thinking. And finally, mindfulness makes us more compassionate, kinder to ourselves, which is a very important part, and kinder to those around us. With regard to self-kindness, I guess the maximum of mindfulness is the same as the advice they give you on a plane when they're doing the safety checks. The stewards say if the air pressure drops, an oxygen mask will come down. And if you have dependence, put it on yourself first. Why? Because you can't help someone else if you're struggling yourself. And mindfulness takes that and it says, look after yourself to the full. Look after yourself physically, in terms of health, exercise, fitness, nutrition. Look after yourself mentally. Make sure you are rested. Make sure you get relaxed. Make sure you do de-stress. Make sure you prevent stress in the first place. And make sure you go to places that make you happy, make you feel happy. Get out in nature. All the stuff that you know about. Mindfulness says, make that a core of your existence. Not just for yourself, but so that you'll be a better person for all the people around you. So you're caring for yourself in order to care for others as well. And it's a lovely two-way generosity, if you like. You're giving a gift to yourself of taking care of yourself in order that you give the gift of the better version of you as a result. So, clarity of thought, calmness, concentration, compassion. If you stopped and thought about what qualities would you make in a human being to make them the best human being possible, all four of those would be in there, and there wouldn't be that many more you would need. If somebody is clear thinking, then they'll make good decisions. If they're calm, then they won't overreact to situations. They'll be a great help to others in difficult times. If they're able to concentrate, they'll get done what they want, what they're going to do. And if they're clear in their thinking, then what they're going to get done is going to be the best thing because they've thought about it. And then they will be kind to others. It's a really good quality. So, How do we develop this? We develop it through the practices of mindfulness, which is largely about, looks like meditation, but it's not. It's a sitting down with generally eyes closed, noticing what's going on. So we build up the ability to notice. And as we build up the ability to notice, and also we build up the ability to let go of distractions while we're doing the practice, then you're learning two skills. You're getting better at noticing, which is the mindfulness part, and you're getting better at letting go of distractions, which can be moods, can be feelings, can be aggression, can be anger, can be irritation, can be anxiety. And we learn to let them go because they're just products of the mind. They aren't you. They don't deserve to take you over, so you learn to let them go. Not suppress them, subtly let them go. Take your attention back to something like the breath or your feet in the ground to stabilise you again, and then you can be more constructive. So we do these practices and the qualities slowly but surely absorb into us and build into us. And that's what the research shows. Brilliant neuroscience research on this in the last 30 years. But today, having explained that, for those of you who are here first time around, that's like a resume of it. But now we want to go a little bit deeper and say, well, where else can this take you, this mindfulness thing? And so I've been doing this for 21 years, coming up for 22, and I've been teaching it for 16 years. And what I've found, not only from scientific research and the ancient kind of scriptures and texts about this, mostly in Buddhism, very early Buddhism, the two match. The scientific research confirms what the ancient folk talked about it and wrote about it. And that's really healthy because you can start to then trust some of the ancient stuff about where it goes. But for me, what I've found is that the more you practice and the more you study it, the scientific stuff and the old stuff, science stuff is amazing now. If you are interested in science and you don't already subscribe to New Scientist, it's the best layman's quality science paper there is. It comes out weekly, and quite a lot of mindfulness and certainly mind and brain evidence and research showing it. But it's a great thing to keep up with because we're developing our understanding of the human brain sort of almost on a daily basis now because of the MRI scanners, so we can now see the brain working. But we want to develop these qualities. And what I've found is that the more you do it, and it's a discipline, so you have to do it. You know, I do this twice a day. You don't have to do it twice a day. Once a day is fine. You can do it for 2 minutes. You can do it for 20 minutes. You can do it for 40 minutes. It doesn't matter. And then dotted through the day, just little moments out, 20, 30 seconds like this. And then I literally came out mid-sentence, stopped, changed direction, noticed the air flowing in through my nostrils, thinking, that's fresh air, that's nice and clear, that's clearing my mind. So I'm using an analogy with the feeling of the air with the quality of mind I would like to have, a clear mind, fresh, clear air, clear mind. That whole thing, you know, take a deep breath and it blows away the cobwebs. We've got phrases for this. So I breathed in, nice and clear. Breathe back out, and it's slow and it's peaceful. And I'm just thinking, now I'm back at peace. And so I literally flicked from talking with you to doing a practice which clears my mind, makes me calm down, peaceful again, and then back on with the practice. So that's maybe 20, 30 seconds. I do that 10, 20 times a day. Just literally, somebody sends me an email, it's a bit brusque or a bit harsh, and I feel the frustration. Frustration's gone. More constructive response. Okay, so we want to deepen the practice. And what we find is that when you practice regularly, you become increasingly clear in your thinking. You become not just calm, but you start to develop this beautiful quality of peace of mind. That notion or that phrase, inner peace, has got all sorts of negative connotations with New Age, hippie stuff, psychedelia, the Beatles, and that whole thing. But actually, peace inside you is not quite like being invincible. I wouldn't say that, but it's pretty close. So, coming up for 8 years ago now, 7.5 years ago, both of my parents died, 3.5 weeks apart. And obviously that was traumatic. It was the first major death in my life since my granny died when I was a child. So it was a long time as well. So I hadn't experienced of grief as an adult before. And it was a long, gruesome decline for certainly my dad and latterly for my mum. But what I found, and of course I didn't know that I had these qualities because they had never been tested before, was that I was completely at peace with the fact that I was losing probably the two most important people in the first half of my life, and both of whom I loved very, very dearly and still miss. But I was at peace, and I didn't try to be at peace. I didn't hope to be at peace. I was just doing like my siblings, other siblings, caring for them overnight, staying overnight, making sure they were all right, realising they were going to die, liaising with the Marie Curie and the Macmillan nurses, then with the hospitals, and then as one died, trying to make sure that you were able to do the logistics and the legal stuff that goes with a death, while the other one is dying. And despite that, and it was tiring, of course, but I was okay with it. Death happens. Grief happens, but you don't need to be drowned by grief. It's not like you control it like stiff upper lip. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ability to grieve when you notice it's healthy. And then when it starts to become drowning, which it can do, like a whirlpool, you get sucked into it, the ability to just breathe out of it. And what I found that I didn't know at that time, until then, was that you can turn grief to gratitude. You can turn grief to gratitude in a single breath. Because they're the same thing, they are both expressions of love, but one's an expression of losing someone you loved, and the other is an expression of being grateful that you had someone you loved. And what that does to your mind, to your brain, is night and day, literally night and day. Grief is night, it's dark. Gratitude is light, it's daytime. When you have predominantly positive mental views or feelings, your physical health grows as well as your mental health, obviously. And you live longer. A person who is moderately negative in their life will die on average about 7 or 7.5 years earlier than a person who's moderately positive, with all the likely negative ill health that goes before the death on top of that. So, being in control of our emotions and being able to produce healthy, nurturing emotions is not just about feeling better, though that's nice. In a moment, it's about feeling better all through your life and living a longer life and living a healthier life. These are long-term studies that show this. It's worth looking up if you're in any way sceptical. So you breathe in. It's just an in-breath, It's nothing special. It's not like I'm breathing in gold, breathing out diamonds. It's just breath, but I am breathing in gold and I'm breathing out diamonds. And this stuff keeps you alive, and mindfulness helps you notice that. So when you breathe in, you feel grateful to be alive. When you breathe back out, you feel so good that you are at peace. and you play this game, because it is a game. What your mind produces is going to be up to one of two things. It's either going to be the genetic and life experience tendencies that you didn't choose, so then you get frustrated, annoyed, excited, or it's going to be the wiser, clearer view of you coming from your mindful part of the mind. And that makes all the difference. Shakespeare said, I can't remember how the wording, but heaven and earth is neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. And the great economist and psychologist of our lifetime just now, Daniel Kahneman, won the Nobel Prize for economics, he said that happiness is allocation of attention. That's the grief gratitude thing I was describing earlier. If you allow your mind to grieve in the dark version of grief, you will be unhappy. You might even sink into depression, suicidal thoughts. If you allow your mindful mind to flip it over into being grateful for having known your parents, and all of a sudden you're happy about the same event. One drags you down, the other lifts you up, but it's the same thing you're thinking about. Allocation of attention. Where do you place your mind? And that implies that you've got the choice about where you place your mind, which of course, if you don't know that you can be mindful, you don't have the choice. So your life is just a constant series of reaction to events. And mindfulness says, you can choose. I was taught by the Tibetan Buddhists the phrase reality is a field of potential. And all these Eastern philosophies are a wee bit annoying that way, in that they give you these great sounding phrases and they don't tell you what they mean, because part of your work is to find out what they mean to you. So, cutting a long story short, it took me about 6 years. I eventually translated it into the present moment. Every present moment is an opportunity. How does that work? So reality is a field of potential. Every moment is an opportunity. Well, reality only happens in the present moment. The past is gone, the future is still to come. So reality is now. So if you buy that, then the present moment. So reality is a field of potential now becomes the present moment is a field of potential. What is a field of potential? When you are not mindful, when your automatic mind is just responding to stuff without your input, then there is no potential, because you're like a zombie. You're just doing what the mind tells you to do. And if there's no potential, there's no field. If you take the analogy of a field as somewhere that things grow up in, and that's the potential, all this stuff that might be able to grow in the field. But you don't have a field, you don't have any potential if your mind is just on automatic. But as soon as you become aware and able to let go of the automatic, then all of a sudden this field springs up. What do I mean by a field springing up? I mean, you can do anything. I mean, right now, I'm talking to you about that. Reality is a field of potential. Okay? But I could decide to have a sip of water. I could decide to put the water back in the laptop, which would be dangerous, or put it back in the coaster, which would be safe. I could stand up just now, do a wee stretch. I could go out and ignore you all and look out the window. Still sunny here in Hamilton, but I'm doing this lovely, great. I could look up, away from you, up to the photograph of my son and my daughter there. And then there's my dad, my grandfather. See the choices, and that's me just thinking in this room. I could do a wee tap dance. Now this is daft, but that's a field of potential. It shows you that your choices at any situation are almost limitless. But only if you know that you have the choice. And to do that, you need to be able to break the dictatorship of your own automatic mind. And that's what we learn in practice. We do it, we let it go. Do it, we let it go. Just before we go on to our practice just now, I want to just emphasise this game bit that I mentioned. Because you now have choice, because you can develop this skill of noticing what's going on, dropping anything negative, and then being creative, being able to create a positive response. Like the classic example I always use, which I think is so powerful, we can't overstate how important it is, but we don't even think about it at all, which is the family row. So somebody says something, somebody gets angry, and you're about to respond angrily back, which is common. It's not just in EastEnders, this is real life. And you notice your anger, you notice what you're about to say with mindfulness. And then the field of potential opens up because you can say, well, I don't need to react angrily. I don't even need to glare at them. You can breathe in, nice and clear, breathe back out, nice and peaceful. And in that time period, you can think, what good can I do with this? And you can say something like, let's not argue about it. Do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want a cup of tea? Can I go get you a glass of wine? Boom. Row solved. Gone. Most of the time, can't say it for everyone, but most of the time that's it. The row that didn't happen. How many rows can you prevent by just letting go of trivial stuff? Big stuff you still have to deal with, but it's usually trivial. And that means this is the game. The game is hugely important. It's your own life and the life of the people around you. But the game is, how creative can you be? Can you keep making good from difficult situations? Can you be completely inventive with this? And you can do that within the practice, which we'll do just now. Two things affect the mind either positively or negatively in big ways. Words, we know this from the research, individual words can lift you or lower you. Negative words can actually affect your heart rate, affect your blood pressure, single words. This has been done in test conditions. Likewise, positive words can make you healthier, make you happier. So words are important, so are visual images, hence the whole idea of visualizing stuff. So to get deeper with mindfulness, you can start to use words. Now, some words and some images are very personal. So we've got a wee teddy bear, white teddy bear, size of my hand, light blue ears, called him Bimbo. Bimbo was brought into the maternity ward when my son, our eldest child, my son was born, and it was an emergency section. Something went wrong in labour, and both my wife and my son nearly died in it. And my son had to be in an incubator. And our best friend brought in the wee bear as my son's companion for the first days of his life. And so that obviously means a lot to me. I can picture that bear just now, and it makes me happy. So I can become happy under any circumstance thinking of that bear. Being grateful, and right now, grateful to the NHS, grateful to all the carers, every day, the bin men, everybody just now. But that can be all sparked off by an image of a bear. And you can do that. You can bring in the things that matter to you positively in your life and use them as practices in everyday life, as well as doing the formal practice. And we'll do a wee practice just now and maybe give you a little sense of that, the use of words and images. So if you can sit with your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart, small of the back and against the back of your chair, back nice and upright, feeling alert, One hand on top of the other, thumbs gently touching, placed in your lap. Don't worry too much about that, it's just to get the hands out of the way. Head dip down a little and gently close your eyes. Now if you suffer from any aches and pains or disabilities, obviously you can just adjust how you want to sit to suit yourself and your own condition. And likewise, if you suffer from any major set of anxiety, you can do this slightly eyes open, though more chance of being distracted, but don't worry about that. So now I'll just guide you in noticing a few things. Start by taking your attention to your feet. Just notice your feet on the ground, if they are. And if your feet happen to be not on the ground because you're sitting on a particularly high couch or something, or lying in bed, just notice some other part of your body touching the chair or the bed. Just think to yourself, feet on the ground, and notice the little tingles that mean touch. And there's a phrase we use in English that says, being down to earth. Being down to earth means being realistic, but it also means being connected to things, to everyday reality. Just allow your experience of the feet touching the ground, or your legs, or your backside, or the small of your back, whatever it is. Just think, I'm connected to my house, my world, and that feels fine. Feel the tingly sensations of touch. And that is you being connected to the world outside you. The world isn't really just outside you. It's all around you, and it goes in and out of you all the time. So now take your attention to your breathing. Place your attention just inside the nostrils. It's where the sensations of breathing tend to be clearest. And slow down your breathing just a little bit. Slowing it down makes the sensations feel clearer. And if your mind gets distracted, that's always okay. Because that's what the mind does, it wanders. So we don't fight it, but we don't just accept it either. If your mind wanders, usually to sounds or to thoughts, we just notice it's gone somewhere. Gently let that distraction fall away by taking our attention back to the breath. And if it comes back, don't get irritated. Just notice it again, let it go. And this is the same way we learn to let go of moods and reactions, negativities, anxiety, worry, stress. Notice them, let them go by taking the attention to the breath. So now just keep the attention on your breath without any effort. So your mind is clear, but it's very light. And the sensations of the breath are just enjoyable. So just enjoy each moment. Sensation. Breathing in. It's fresh and clear. Breathing out. It's quiet and it's peaceful. Simple as that. Just keep doing it. Get distracted. Drop it. Back to the breathing. Just for the next 2 minutes or so. Now this is where we can start to use a little creativity and imagination. So still focusing on the breath. Notice that the in-breath feels really clear. And the out-breath feels peaceful. Now those are physical sensations of touch. Air flowing through the nostrils, touching the sensitive nerve ends. Now let's apply these words to our mind. And you can think to yourself, use words to help. You can think, breathing in, my mind is clear, just like the breath. Breathing out, my mind is peaceful, just like the out-breath. Breathing in, my mind is clear. Breathing out, my mind is peaceful. You can shorten it to just the single words. Clear as you breathe in. Peaceful as you breathe back out. Clear and peaceful. Now you can start to add images if you can. Don't worry if you can't. But as you breathe in and you think clear, imagine your mind as this vast, empty, clear globe. By vast I mean it fills the whole room you're in. And as you breathe in, you notice how crystal clear and empty it is. There's no distractions, no worries, no concerns, no anger, no frustration. Nothing there. Your mind is ready for anything. It's vast and it's empty and it's ready. But it's not plagued by distractions. And next time you breathe in and you think clear and you imagine this vast empty mind, think of it as bigger than your room. Think of it as the whole building or house you're in. Vast empty mind. Then think of it as a whole housing estate or town or area you're in. You have this vast empty mind and it's so clear. And as you breathe out, you just notice each breath how peaceful it is to have a vast, clear, empty mind. Excuse the dog barking out my street. Just treat it as a distraction if you hear it. Notice it, let it go, back to the breath flowing in. It's vast and it's empty. Crystal clear. Breathe back out. It's quiet, peaceful. Dog's barking's gone. No irritation. Perfect. Clear. And peaceful. Clear, vast, empty, ready. Peaceful, totally tranquil. Everything's fine. Everything's relaxed. And then allow the visual images to drop from your head. So it's just clear the word and the word peaceful. And then the words disappear and all that's left is beautiful, clear, fresh air flowing in slowly through your nostrils. And quiet, peaceful sensations as you breathe back out. It's as if your attention has become so pure and so light that it's merged with the air. So it feels like it's the attention that's flowing in. clear and peaceful. Flowing in clear, flowing out peaceful. And your whole body is clear and your whole body is peaceful. And then gently let the attention fall away from your breath and let it slowly slip down as if in slow motion down through all the parts of your body till it goes all the way down to the tips of your toes, and you just notice your toes and they feel a little bit stiff, maybe a little bit numb, so you can gently start to loosen them up. You're still being mindful, you're noticing now part of the body loosening up, and it's enjoyable to loosen up. And that spreads to the balls of the feet, and the top of the feet, and the soles and the heels. You become aware of it all, and then you can gently lift your ankles one at a time. Start to loosen up the ankles, stretch and loosen the Achilles tendons, and that feels really good. So slowly, as if in slow motion, so you can enjoy it all the more. This is real life, and it's good enough. And the feet can go back down in the ground, and you can relax the calves and the knees. And then let the long, strong muscles of your upper legs, so the quadriceps and the hamstrings, just let them soften and sink into the chair. So that your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet and your toes all feel loosened up. And the dog's barking again, and notice it and let it go, so it's not an irritation. And then just take your attention now to your fingertips, the tips of your thumbs, and notice touch. Gentle, subtle touch. Then you can start to gently slide the fingers along the fingers that are touching, and you get sensations of touch spreading more widely. Very pleasant, still being mindful. And they stretch further, so you notice them in the back of the hands, and you notice the palms of your hands. And then you can loosen the wrists, and that feels good. And then relax the forearms to the elbows. Then relax the upper arms to the edge of the shoulders, so that the arms, the elbows, the wrists, hands, fingers, thumbs, all feel loosened up, just like your legs, your feet and your toes. Just notice the pleasure of a relaxed set of limbs. Now take the attention to the muscles at the small of the back and just rest them into the chair. Then do the same with the long, strong muscles of the upper back. And the shoulders and shoulder blades can just come down and sit where it best suits them. Into your neck, being careful with the neck. Just start to loosen it, little ways in different directions, tiny little movements, just to test out all the directions, because sometimes the neck can be stiff and sore in various parts, but very loose in others. What you want to do is test and find areas that give most freely. Just allow them gentle stretch. I tend to find that because they loosen up, the stiffer areas of the neck start to give way as well. So the neck increasingly loosens, and it feels great to loosen the neck, or certainly for me. It's a lovely feeling. To finish loosening the neck, we can turn it one way as if to look over a shoulder, just stopping where it begins to tighten. So you feel the gentle stretch, but it's not uncomfortable. And you hold it there a few seconds. And then slowly, gently, carefully back to centre. And you keep it turning. And you do the same at the other side. Hold, stretched, but it's not uncomfortable. And then slowly, carefully back to centre. Finally to your eyelids, giving themselves 2 or 3 minutes. Just allow yourself to find your eyelids very softly and slowly, gently start to open. And as they do, keep your eyes unfocused, downward gazed. Just trust your eyes to return to focus in their own time and in their own way. And as they do so, just enjoy the last few seconds and moments of peace and quiet of this practice. Okay, that's me out of my practice. If you're not, don't rush. Just take your time. You can just come out as and when you're ready. But I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it useful, practical, helpful. You can investigate this further for the rest of your life. Go onto YouTube and look at the scientific lectures and Oxford University psychologists and the neuroscientists at Harvard talking about the evidence in this. And also there are many free practices, including my own, on my YouTube channel. I do a Facebook Live just now, twice daily free sessions. And if they're still going, when you watch this, please join. And practice is what matters. And as you deepen the practice, you deepen your sense of clarity of thought, so your life becomes better because you make better decisions, and you become increasingly peaceful. So on that note, I'll say my goodbyes. Hope to see you next session that I do, and whatever time of day it is just now when you're watching this, have a lovely rest of your day and take care of yourself. Keep well. Thank you.